Right here after the final game of the season, a rather flat 3-0 loss to Boreham Wood. Mark, have you learned any more from today's game than you learned at our last game?
Yes, there's no doubt that we learned a lot from training this week. We took what we learned from last week into the training sessions. We tried a few things today, players in different positions. We wanted to learn whether they could play in those positions, what sort of characters we've got here. And to be fair, the result, obviously, again, it's not nice to lose, and it's not nice not to put on a good performance. But the reality is, these two games were all about myself and Damien learning enough to decide about what players are going to stay next year. And we're going to build new foundations next year. And, it doesn't help the fact that there's certain ingredients in the side that I would like to see in a side that unfortunately aren't here from the start. So sometimes it's like sending young kids out on the field without the right ammunition, and to a certain extent it's not always their fault either. And I said to the lads, those that have worked hard enough and have shown the right heart and want to be here next year, we know them, you know them. It's quite clear, and then there's certain players that unfortunately just aren't of the quality that are needed to cement the foundations for where we want to go as a club.
Mark, over the last couple of games where you've been here, we haven't really created anything in the final third. Has that told us something that we probably already knew at the start of the season, that we lack firepower in the final third?
Yeah, I mean, we don't only lack the firepower, but we lack the ability to hold the ball up there and give ourselves a chance to reset ourselves as a group. So fundamental, as I say, fundamental foundations of a team. We're not able to hold the ball up front, and we haven't got anybody, unfortunately, we haven't really got the clinical finishers that are needed to make sure that even if we go a goal down, we're capable of winning a game. And I think that's what's been happening from what I can see, is that you can sneak a 1-0 win up at Tranmere. If you're fortunate enough to get a goal and hang in, then great. But if you go a goal down, I don't think the confidence is there in the team to believe that you can come back down and come back and score enough to win the game.
Would you see a side under you next season with a little bit more experience in it, sprinkled throughout the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that it's been men against boys the last couple of weeks, and there is a lot of young talent, and there's a lot of youthful play in terms of those that are willing, but at the same time you need an old head alongside these this young talent, and to help them in situations when their heads go down, pick them up, and also to guide them through a game. And there's a lack of leadership, there's a lack of experience, and as I say, the foundations of the team will build again and have it right for the start of next season.
Do you see you building your squad ahead of pre-season, or will we be going into pre-season with the nucleus of who you want to keep, plus a few trialists and people you've invited in?
No, my aim will be that our squad will be ready for the first day of pre-season. There might be one or two trialists, but I've always worked on the basis. My work starts tonight, and by the time pre-season starts, we'll have the basis of our team for the next year.
A lot of people will be thinking, I don't want to go too far into this, but do you see anything happening off the pitch early in the season, in the summer, or are we going to be pretty much as we are for the foreseeable?
No, there's got to be realistic timescales for. There's discussions that have to take place with the council. We need to get the buy-in from the council for our plans. This won't work unless it's a joint venture with the council, and we do have our funding in place, which is great, and we have our plans in place for where we want to go, and now the next step is to hopefully to get the support of the council. And if we do that, then you never know, at the end of next year we might be looking at starting to develop something.
Mark, thanks for talking to us, and let's hope Welling United next season we're on a stronger platform where we can challenge for promotion back to this league.
Well, the aim will be to ensure that we are there or thereabouts around the playoffs. I think we don't want to bounce back too quickly either. We're certainly not going to be throwing money at it. We're going to be building the foundations of the club as well as the team to ensure that we have sustainable income. So if we do get promoted at the right time, that we're able to stay there and support ourselves through the club activities, both on and off the pitch.
But the aim next season, it's not. Sometimes teams go down and they rebuild. Are we aiming to be competitive and try and come back up if we can first time?
I'd be disappointed if I don't put a side together that is capable of getting promoted next year. But what I'm saying is that we're not going to go all guns blazing to get back up. We're going to build slowly in the right manner, shall we say, and so that when we do go back up, and I say when we do go back up, we're there to stay and push on.
Mark, have you got a message for the fans as we go into the summer?
Well, I think I'm sorry to for the fans that we've had a disappointing end to the season, but as far as Damien and I are concerned, it's been a very worthwhile exercise being involved in the last two games, and I'd like the fans to be patient enough to realise that the finish to the season was more about learning for the future, and I believe that we can prove and earn the respect of the supporters that we are here with for the right reasons, and our long-term plans are in the best interests of Welling United Football Club.
Mark, thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you next season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers,
Thank you.
Thanks. Michael, we'll talk about today's game. We probably never got going, but it probably sums up the last few games really, that we've been a bit flat, not really competitive, and we've probably not deserved any points recently.
Yeah, I think obviously I didn't play last week against Orchenham, but I think the boys are a bit dejected, which is probably a good word to use. The boys are a bit flat, but I think you can never question the boys' heart and desire, and they work for the team, and all the boys work for each other.
What's the manager said over the last couple of games? Is he a hair dry type manager, or are they remaining calm? Or
I think they've been quite good over the last few games. They have remained really calm. They've tried to keep the boys going in training, tried to keep it up tempo, tried to get all the boys going. So I think there is positives to come for next season. I think they could come in and both of them could do a great job.
The defence for most part of the season, I think, was pretty solid, Michael. I mean, we didn't get murdered too many times. Odd mistake probably done us, but do you think it's hard? I don't want you to blame strikers or anybody, but do you think the pressure of the season of us not scoring enough goals caught up with the defence at the end of the season when there wasn't a lot to play for?
I think it does have an effect mentally. It is draining. It does have an effect on the boys. But I think as a team we need to be more mature. I think there was times where we was quite naive in games, and I think even today you could see from when we let in the first goal, all the boys' heads drop, and it does affect how we play. I think before that we had a 10-minute spell where we was in the game. They might have had a bit of pressure, but we looked like we was going to create a chance, and the goal goes in, and then kind of we get a bit down, dejected, and that's when a sort of naivety comes in, and I think that's where we struggled a lot this season. We have been. It's hard to say you need more experienced players in the team, but sometimes it would be helpful. But at a stage, some of us boys have got to grow into men.
We had a chance to get back in the game, didn't we? Did their keeper make a save, or was it blocked? So we had a chance to get back in the game, but then the second, the third, and it just seemed to be one of those flat. Has it been literally when we know we're down? Has it been can't wait for the season to end? Do you think there's a bit of that, because we seem very, very, very flat?
Looking at it, it's hard to say there's not really. I think obviously knowing that we're down and we were down for a little while, you can see by the performances and by the results. Was it 4-0, 5-0 and 3-0? I've played quite a few games this season, and there's never been a string of games like that, so you could say it's had a big part to play. Yeah. Michael,
I'll ask you because you're here. Do you see yourself as you could be at Welling next season?
I honestly don't know, to be honest. I said last season I wasn't sure, and I ended up back here, so I'm going to say the same thing again. I honestly don't know. It's a conversation I need to have with our representatives over the summer, and then you never know, could be back here, as Paul says.
Is it a bit of an unfinished story though, Michael? Do you think, because earlier in the season you said we're probably not going to get beat by too many sides, we look fairly solid, we've just lacked a little bit in both boxes. Is there something inside you that thinks there's a little bit of unfinished work at Welling?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I first came at the start of the season, I said to myself that I reckon we was going to finish, say, mid to bottom table, but I never thought we was going to be involved in a relegation battle. Looking at the players that we had and how things went last year, but I guess there is a bit of a feeling in there that a bit of unfinished business. So
we'll see what happens over the summer. Michael, well, thanks for talking to us, and let's hope we're back here in pre-season and you're still a well-in player.
That's right, so, yeah.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.